It's the morning cryptos. Hey, it's Mark Shepard, and today we're going to look at cryptos. Why? Because every morning, first thing in the morning, I want to see what happened. What happened while I was asleep? And you can watch over my shoulder as I look at what's going on and what my positions are. And yeah, I have no idea what I'm going to say. The coffee is just starting to hit my bloodstream. Yes, indeed. All right, let's look at Bitcoin. And last night before I went to bed, I drew this line. And it wasn't any particularly scientific line. It was just, I was looking to kind of see, not mathematically, but visually, where the kind of middle point was, where things were trading above and below. And last night it was at 45.97. 45.97. And to me, it's just like, I was looking like it's a little bit above, it's a little bit below, it's a little bit above, it's a little bit below. And that to me is a sideways trading range, which is, by the way, we're on the 1 hour chart here, which is where this is kind of visible. And to me, a sideways trading range is a really good consolidation point. It's like, okay, it's getting, hypnotically speaking, it's getting used to its new identity, right? It's getting used to its new value. When I worked with people with self-worth, there was always a spot where they didn't quite believe it, where we installed some new beliefs, and you can literally do that with NLP and hypnosis. And it's not as magical as it sounds. It's literally just how your mind works. We're always installing and uninstalling new beliefs, and the idea is that where do you now, how do you consolidate your new identity, right? And I see this happening in the charts over and over again. Is a currency makes a big move, and this is probably true in all the different investment vehicles where people are buying and selling. There's a whole push to a new valuation level, and then it kind of stays level for a little while, right? And you see it on the 1 hours, you see it on the 1 day charts, you see it all over the place. And that's why I like looking at the different charts. So anyway, that's where the chart was from when I went to bed. Because I am obsessed with this. And this is also how I learn. And when I learn, I just go deep and I get really good at something pretty fast. And the thing is that you can too, right? So now if I were to draw a line here, my line would be kind of between these guys. If I'm just kind of looking for that midpoint, where's the range, right? And on the 1 day chart, it's clearly up, right? It's clearly moving up. And we have higher bottoms. And, the only thing is we have this top here. That was literally last Friday, literally a week ago today. And then we had a correction. And look at this. A week later, we are nicely back within range of this big push. And again, that's, to me, this is why this is so fascinating as a student of the human mind. This is on a mass scale what happens on the individual scale when someone is making changes. And our culture right now is going through some of the greatest transformations technologically, culturally, even probably politically, that has ever been seen. And you're hearing a lot of people, some of the leading edge people, talk about how at some point we won't need government, right? We will be self-governing. I don't know how realistic that is, given that there's a lot of shitty people in the world who didn't get the memo that kind of being kind to each other is what we're supposed to do here. But that's aside from the point. The point is that we are dealing with massive change everywhere in our culture. And those of us who watch the internet come and grow and literally kind of hook into the human consciousness are like going, wow, this money thing, this cryptocurrency thing is as disruptive and as profound a change as any we have seen since people, got off their horses and onto trains and cars and planes. And I think it's fascinating to kind of be conscious of the change that's happening and to be able to observe it and participate in it and dance with it every day. So that's why I'm here, really. Other than the fact that I'm just obsessed with this stuff. And it's to me, it's some of the most fun I've ever had. I've never been a guy who played a lot of video games or any of that kind of stuff. I did a little bit with my kids, but I just think, to me, we're constantly looking to increase our value, right? And I think that's healthy, right? I think that's a healthy use of how our brain works. As long as we don't go too overboard with it and we have some life balance. Like my dad is here. He's asleep in the next room, and I got to wake him up in a few minutes so that he can get to a doctor's appointment he has while he's visiting me. So the thing is that I guess the point I'm trying to make is when I talk about this stuff, people who I know are like, Mark, when you talk about this, you light up, right? And partly it's because as a musician, I've been writing really great music. I mean, people hear my music in my living room and they go, oh my God, why aren't you famous? And the bottom line is that entire industry has been so disrupted that to get from my living room to someone's ears requires so many things that aren't really important to people, right? People in their 40s and 50s are not interested in new music, right? But they are interested in this. And so if I can use this to record my music and leave a legacy for my kids and beyond, fine. That's cool. I'm into it. But the bottom line is what you do for work, ultimately, you will do it a lot better if it's something you're passionate about and that you love doing. So those are just some philosophical, hypnotic thoughts while I'm looking at Bitcoin. And the reason last weekend wasn't a crash like all the news media tried to portray it, or the Bitcoin haters tried to portray it, is because it was just a correction. This market, Bitcoin is so huge and it's only getting bigger right now. It's like in 1999, when we had Y2K, the internet wasn't that big. And someone who said, oh yeah, the internet's just a passing fad, like, no one was saying that. No one was saying, oh yeah, in 10 years, no one's going to even want to bother with the internet. No, I mean, it was pretty clear the internet was still in its early days, and the things that we wanted to do with it that we couldn't yet do, like put video and, HD photos up and, have video conferences and all the things that we wanted to do with the internet. They weren't quite possible, but we could see that they would be possible soon, right? We could see it. No one said, oh, yeah, that's a fad. That's going to crash. But yet with markets, because there is some of that psychological Ponzi stuff going on with currencies where the early adapters come in and they make the most money as far as if they just, buy the currency and hold it. And so that's why all these ICOs are working, because people go, well, I want to be that early guy. Well, it's too late to be that early guy. It's too late to be Roger Ver, right? But you can still be someone who uses this to absolutely prosper and to be aware of it. I mean, just for example, if you got to know this stuff and then you could work as a consultant to a company that needed to understand it and use this for their business, right? I mean, there's all kinds of opportunities just from learning about this and knowing about this and being a guide to other people. So anyway, man, I wake up and I can just talk. It's crazy. I think I'm still in trance, sleepy trance. So anyway, I love looking at these charts. Thanks for looking at them with me. And hopefully you're as obsessed as I am. Let's go back to this 1 hour chart. So I was just trying to look at the sideways range. And again, on the 1 hour chart, we have a double top. We have bottoms that are rising. And so again, every time I've seen this pattern, it kind of marks a move up. And I'm curious to see if this weekend we have a breakout or if it waits till Monday. Because it could come back down here and then go back up and come back down. We could have some sideways trading indicators here, which would indicate a buy. Even if you think Bitcoin is overpriced at this point, it's not going to stop for a while. There will be volatility and there will be pullbacks. So at the moment, if you look at where the price is on the 30-minute chart, I got to move my line up. It's exactly in the middle of this range. Just see how that's doing that? I think that's fascinating. So it goes up and goes down, it comes up and goes down, and there's this kind of a little trading range. And just hang on, I gotta pause this because my dad's alarm is going off, but it's not in his room, so I gotta just hang on here. All right, so my dad's 90, by the way, and he's in better health than most people because he got passionate about health when he was in his 40s and 50s. And everybody laughed at him, but he is far outlived. I think he was one of 8 siblings and he's only got one left. And he was the sickly one as a kid, right? So he's the one that's now healthy. So the thing to remember is the things that you're fascinated about, that you're drawn to, that you're passionate about, that you're curious about, those are like invitations to explore and to take who you are to another level. And again, the same process goes on when you make a change in your own self-awareness that these markets are making right now. It was not long ago that it seemed like 2,500 was an outrageously high price for one single Bitcoin. And here we are, only a couple months later. That's how fast we're adapting to this idea. And so I want you guys just to think about that if you're beginning to trade or if you're thinking about just kind of exploring this, or even if you're a seasoned trader, you can do better by learning about yourself and how your mind is wired so that you can use it for your benefit rather than have it work against you. Does that make sense? So, all right. I always like to look at the 1 minutes just to see what's going on. Not a lot helpful at this little 1 minute spot. But you can actually kind of see the cluster of trades around this 4620 spot in this last minute. Whereas this is the last several minutes, the last time chunk. Let's go up 5 minutes. Yeah, so this is the line I drew here, and it's kind of right in the middle of this range. That's pretty evenly spaced. So to me, that says, hey, right now it's consolidating. Like, where are we going to go next? What's really going on here? And there are people looking at it and going, should I buy? Should I sell? Should I buy? Should I sell? And always try to remember with these charts, it's people. Even if it's an institutional investor, there's still somebody making a decision about what they want. And ultimately, the majority of people believe that Bitcoin is going to be going up. Over and over again, you see in the news, one Bitcoin will be worth $1 million. One Bitcoin will be worth 50,000. And that's imagination. And your imagination is your unconscious mind, right? And the thing is that if people are trying it out and sending those suggestions out into the mass media, and people pick up on those suggestions without even being aware of it, eventually those suggestions often come true, right? It's called a self-fulfilling prophecy. But trying not to interpret too much and just looking at the market and going, where does this trend want to go? Right? Where does this trend want to go? And let's end back at the 1-day chart for Bitcoin. The trend, my friend, is obviously up, and we don't know where the end is, and it may not even be in sight. So I think we're going to see some consolidation, some more consolidation here, but it's generally trending upwards, and it'll be interesting to see if we test the $5,000 per Bitcoin range and when we hit that. I think it's gonna kind of work its way up to it. I don't think it's gonna bolt up to it. I think it's gonna kiss up to it. That's my totally and completely uneducated opinion, and I do very much appreciate y'all paying attention to it, and I enjoy your company here early in the morning, and hopefully you're as crypto obsessed as I am. All right, let's move on a little bit. I'll try to move it a little faster. I'd like to get some of my thoughts out of the way early for those of you who don't have the patience to stick with me. All right, so I drew a couple little lines here last night on Dash, and man, we have moved up since last night. Let me in Dash, we have this double top here, which is interesting. So we have a real ceiling at 400, I think, is the main objective here, and I think it's going to hit it. Dash is strong. It's one of the top 5 or 6 currencies, and ultimately there's one currency that's going to be the one that most people use most of the time for most of their stuff. That's our thought. We don't know how true that is, and maybe everybody has 5, but there'll be a day, and all these little currencies that people are just cranking out right and left. There's no way that they're going to be able to compete in the public's mind because the public has only so much attention. And right now, Bitcoin has the attention. And there's even a token called the Basic Attention Token that I bought a couple of. Because attention, we're not in the age of information. We're in the age of attention. And holding someone's attention is now going to be considered a valuable commodity. So think about that. That's why Steemit is actually hopefully working, is that just putting up information that's valuable to other people should be something that you get paid for. And if you put up crap, you shouldn't be paid, right? But if you put up something that's actually valuable to real people who really need that information, you should be paid, and it should be just built into the whole system so that it's not coming out of anybody's pocket kind of a thing. And that's why Steemit is brilliant. I'm not sure I like its format so much, but I'm going to start putting my morning cryptos up there every day, and we'll see what happens. So let's look at the 1-hour chart here. And this is what I saw last night before I went to bed. Okay, and I drew this, and I was going to talk about this morning. I saw a perfect wedge here, and I was like, okay, now I've seen where the rising bottoms and the tops stay the same, but I haven't seen a wedge so perfectly formed like this, where the tops are a little bit lower and the bottoms are higher. And then look at what happened this morning. And boom, it's broken out, right? So these wedges, these little consolidation things, I think they're some of the best indicators you can find anywhere. And if you just traded this one single thing consistently, you will make money, right? But the question is, with a wedge like this, it may be an indicator that it could go either way, right? But the whole push of this whole market with all of these is up. It's increased exposure, increased adaptation, more people coming in. This is not a time when the whole market's going to turn bear and everybody's afraid of cryptocurrencies. It's just not happening. It's just more and more people are talking about it. I went to a little party last night, cryptocurrencies came up in conversation. Multiply that by millions of people at millions of parties, right? What are you doing? Well, I'm trading these things called cryptocurrencies. What? What's that? Well, let me tell you about Bitcoin, right? Those conversations are happening over and over and over again, and in the general public. So we are at that kind of seesaw place where it's, it's not, people aren't tired of it yet. But today, try to start a new Amazon.com, right? Good luck, right? So all these little coins, other than Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Dash, those are the kind of main ones. I don't know much about Ripple, but Ripple is obviously quite well funded, and I think it's unfortunately a bank thing. But some of these, maybe there's going to be 10 of them. I don't know. So if you look at a little cluster like this, and the entire market is really bullish, and it just had a ton of energy a week earlier, and you can kind of go, okay, something's going to happen here. It's probably going to be a breakout to the upside, right? So, and ultimately, I've got some Dash, so this makes it interesting to me. I don't have a lot of Dash. How much Dash do I have? I'm gonna take a peek here, let you guys see what I got. Dash, what I got. This is not all of the things I have. So I got 4 Dash, and I did a bunch of different exchanges for it, so I got it at a bunch of different prices. So it's kind of hard to see, how much am I up, right? But I know for a fact that I haven't bought any since September 1st, or since August 27th. Yeah, so that's when I started doing it. So let's see where we were August 27th, just for curiosity's sake here. August 15th. So I was doing some Dash over here, and this side was trading range. And let's see where's the 27th. What did I do on August 27th? I'm going to have to edit this out. August 27th, exchange from Bitcoin. What did I do there? Oh, I actually lost money on this one. What did I do? Yeah, so I bought $954 worth, and it's now worth $934. Okay, so I made a classic error here. Or did I? God, I don't even remember this. So I bought at the top. Why did I buy that day? God, what an idiot. Right? Look at this. So I'm almost back to a whole spot. That's really bizarre. Did I buy on the attempting to get the retracement? I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to edit all that out because it makes me look like a total idiot. Oh, you don't know that? I'm a total idiot. I'm learning right on camera. And the thing is, it's only with our mistakes, it's only by studying this and going deep in this that you're going to get anywhere. So let's look at the Dash that I bought on August 21st. Oh, I had a bunch on August 14th, and then I swapped it out. See, part of my weakness as a trader is I change my mind too much. Right, so I bought some on August 21st for $500, and now it's worth $650. Right, and then let's see. I bought some on August 14th at $250, and now it's worth $464. That was a good trade, right? That I almost doubled my money. And August 12th, and this is because I was seeing the sideways trading range. Yeah, I got some for 363. It's now worth 656. That's helpful. So I made one dumbass trade, and I made a bunch of pretty solid trades. And again, we don't know. And I can't imagine why I bought Dash right here, because this obviously is going to be a correction. You know, maybe I thought it would, I was trying to buy some in here and so it would go up there, but that move hasn't happened yet. So anyway, probably edit all that out, but I don't know when I watch it again if that's going to be helpful for you or not. Okay, so let's look at Ethereum. And Ethereum, let's look at, that's the 1 day chart. And if you kind of look at it right now, Ethereum is hanging right in that middle spot between its high and its most recent low. It's hovering, right? This to me is saying it's going to break out, right? This is another move in the making. Let's look at it a little tighter. Let's look at the 1 hour charts. Yeah, so on the 1 hour charts, we have a sideways trading range in Ethereum. And it's hanging right at that midpoint, in that you could call it an average, right? That midpoint between its high, its most recent high, and its most recent low. And again, this is one of those wedges that we just saw in Dash, I think it was. It's the bottoms are moving up and the tops are moving down. It's really getting tight, and then I think it's gonna pop. That's my theory, and we'll see how that plays out. We'll look at the 5-minute chart here, and I might move the line up here. So right now we're just a touch below the line. Let me draw it. So, you know, and these aren't obviously perfect by any means. Let's see if this line comes down here like that. Yeah. So I think Ethereum is going to break out. And it had a little pop to the upside. It's got a little more upside energy here. Got a little more upside energy than down, and that's a 5-minute chart. Let's look at the 10-minute chart. So we've had pops to the top, right? That to me indicates bullish energy. And then we have this consolidation, and I would be willing to bet when it gets over here to where these two lines converge, it's going to pop, right? Might be a good time to get yourself a little more Ethereum if you're in the mood. And again, none of this is to be construed as financial advice, because first of all, I'm learning, and I'm in no position to give you advice other than my pattern recognition skills, which are pretty good. I look at patterns and I think about the human mind and motivations and that kind of stuff. I'm good at the technical stuff, the math stuff. You're gonna have to find somebody else, right? So if this is helpful for you in making your own decisions, great. Otherwise, hopefully I'm just going to entertain you each morning and give you the opportunity to feel superior to me, which is a gift that I give many people. All right, so we're going to go just back to the 1 day. And yeah, so we got this little cluster here right in the middle. And I think it may go sideways for a while and then pop, or it could be getting ready to pop right now. Okay. So let's look at my favorite little friend, Litecoin, who luckily I was smart enough to not buy any up here. I bought it all down in this range. And we're showing some pretty good volume, although it's dropped a little the last 2 days. But we had a lot, and more can come back. And let us look at the 1 hour charts. This is what I drew last night. Sideways trading range. And why did I draw the line there? Okay, so this is where we are here. And I was just trying to dial in from these tops, but because this doesn't fit my pattern, right? This is a little different pattern. These are not. You either have to draw the line from these guys right up here. See that those tops didn't make sense. It seemed like this was the place to kind of, if I'm building something, I want to find places to set my line. And right here seemed to be a solid place to set it. But you can see that these little kicks up are anomalies that don't fit this little pattern. So the question is, are they the abutments of the bridge? Let's just use them. So if they're to be used, yeah, that's probably better because they're almost they're almost the same. But it's this wedge formation we're seeing where it's coming up from the bottom and it's coming down slightly from the top. To me, that's probably as good an indicator as a flat top, a triple top, double top kind of situation. Because if you just measure that there, and it's like this is excitement popping, trying to pop out. But we are narrowing the range either way. So I think Litecoin's going to make its move. I have a sell stop at 91 something. And that's where I'm going to take some profits. I think it's going to go to 100. And then it will have a step back. So that's my plan. And we'll see if I can stick to it or if I change my mind. And let's look at the 10 minutes here. I don't know why I have 10 minutes, but we have a nice little sideways trading range on the 10-minute chart. I don't think you can ask for a nicer bullish indicator. And again, I can be totally wrong too. It could just drop like a rock tomorrow, but I have a feeling that this is the energy where it wants to go. Litecoin's getting a lot of positive press. It's kind of the sleeper, and people are recognizing it has value, and it's been very aggressive in making the adaptational changes that these currencies need to make in their blockchain and in their process so that they can continue to adapt and grow. And so I think that's strong. All right, let's look at XMR Monero. Interesting. It has broken out. Let me go back to the 1 day. Okay. That's really weird. Oh, there we go. Yeah. We have a little bit of a breakout today. Interesting. And its target really is in the 150 range, if you're looking for a nice round number. 150 and then 160 is kind of the ultimate next target goal. And let's look at the 1 hour chart. See, we had ourselves a little bit of a sideways trading range here. Let's snug this down a little bit. And again, look at this pattern. This pattern is so consistently working as an indicator of what's going to happen, right? You can angle this down a little bit, and it's the same wedge pattern. It's showing up in the others, and they haven't made their break yet. Like Litecoin is about to make one. and you can just see where it's about to do it, right? So these sideways trading ranges are gold, people. This is like the keyest, most important piece of information that you can apply, and it's doable, and it happens over and over again. And look, even on, let's say on the 5 minutes, here's the breakout over here, and then it moves, and then it does a sideways consolidation, and then here's the breakout, and then it moves, and it does a sideways consolidation. Now in this case, it's coming back, but these are profit. These are people taking profits, bots taking profits. But look, at the moment it comes right back to this support spot. So then you want to look at these shorter range time charts and just, where's the momentum now? Right? And if you knew nothing other than that it was making new highs and it has come back, you could get in here if you wanted to. I wouldn't think it's the best time to get in. You want to wait until stuff is really kind of pulling back. But there's a 30-minute chart. And here's let's look at a 12-hour chart. That's interesting. Yeah, you can see my little lines here. There's a little sideways range. But see, here's on the 12-hour chart, here's kind of a little sideways range that went down, right? So that's something to watch as well, right? And in some ways these are like fortune telling cards. You can, however you interpret them, your brain will arrange it to go, oh yeah, I get that. But I could be wrong. And so could you, except for the fact that the overlying trend is up, right? And there are more and more people coming into the market. More and more people every day are going like, what's Monero? Oh, that's the currency that if you really want to keep it private, you can use. Oh, now is anyone actually using Monero for anything? Probably not. But the idea of Monero is powerful. And that's all you need to know about it, right? Okay. I want to just look at IOTA real quick and see what's going on with IOTA. And we have, let's see, that's the 12-hour. Let's get to a one-day chart so we can start from someplace of. Okay, so IOTA, if you look at the whole thing, it started when it first started out at 0.62. Where is it today? 0.62. See, it's exactly where it started out. How interesting. And IOTA is this new coin that uses the Tangle instead of the blockchain. And whether the Tangle turns out to be better than the blockchain remains to be seen, but it is innovative, and they have this whole plan that this is going to be the currency that machines use when they buy and sell from each other. And I don't know, it sounds sci-fi, but who knows, right? But there's been a lot of buzz about IOTA and a lot of interviews, and so people are conscious of it. It has a good name. I don't owe you one iota, right? An iota. It's some kind of measure of money that we've used for years in our common terminology, and so IOTA has a whole different vibe than, let's say, Golem, right? Like, who wants Golem? Like, Golem is like, blech, right? So the marketing of these currencies is important in how the perception of them nestles in the human mind. And I hope that makes sense. So I'm watching IOTA at the moment. I think I have a little bit of it somewhere. Good time to pick some up, I think. I think it's showing some energy to the top side here. This is a bottom. This is a higher 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 bottom, right? So I think it has turned, and it might be a place if you want to take $100. And again, this is not to be construed as financial advice. Take $100. Put a little money on this horse. See what it does. Pay attention to it. Watch for its patterns. See if you can get a sense of it. So let's dive in. Let's look at the 1 hour real quick. Sideways trading range alert. Auga, auga. Sideways trading range alert. Paduka da baduka. So we have literally a top there and all these little tops at the 65 range. Or we can drop it down here. So that's interesting. Or we can just take it over here and figure out what's going on. I like a sideways trading range, people. I told you I liked them. The thing is, we also don't want to get stuck in, well, it's not a sideways. We want to pay attention to other things as well, but ultimately, right? But here was one up here that went down, right? Here was one here that we had higher bottoms, but it dropped. So it's not 100%. There's no guarantees. But it's like a sideways trading range is consolidating, and then it's going to make a move, right? And the move may be up or down depending on the news. And the thing is, this can't go down that much, right? I mean, it could go to zero, but it's early in the life of this currency, and you know it's early, and so it doesn't matter that much. Right now, it's right exactly at the price that it was when it first started. And that's the other thing to those of you who think, oh God, I got to get into quantum, right? Because quantum's, that's just going to go crazy. These coins come in and look, if you missed it back, in July, oh man, I want to get this new IOTA, right? There's a lot of news about IOTA back in July. Why? Because they were just launching their coin, right? And this is what it is, and this is why it's different. And, basically it went down. Right? The newbie money got in. The smart money doesn't jump in on these sometimes. The smart money was like, okay, I'm going to give it a couple of weeks, see what it does. And oh, look, here's a sideways trading range. This is the one-day chart. So a sideways trading range on a one-day chart is a little bit different than a sideways trading range on a 5-minute chart, right? Has a little bit more impact. So look at this, sideways trading range. Bottom slightly up. Tops a little bit down, slightly down. Look at that. It's a wedge. And what happened? It burst up. And then, of course, the profits were given back. All right? So something to watch. All right? That's it for all I'm going to do today. It's all I feel like doing. And I got to make my dad some tea. He's got an appointment. And that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching The Morning Cryptos. If you like this, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. And leave a comment below. And this is my 40th day. My 40th day of this challenge. I started on July 31st to go really deep into the world of cryptos and to record my journey and my thoughts and perhaps write a book or create a course for new people or for old people or people who are new and old to the space. And so I appreciate all of your kind comments and thanks so much for watching. And again, this program has been brought to you by Bob Ponzi. Here's the deal. Just give me your Bitcoin and I'll never give it back. And buy coffee. Ever since I've been drinking coffee, I've been awake. And by air. Kids, ever since I've been breathing air, I've been alive. So let your trading be safe, intelligent, and deeply, deeply satisfying to you as you explore the idea of understanding yourself, understanding the markets, and making yourself rich. Wealth, abundance, prosperity. Let that be your new belief system about yourself. Abundance. Live long and prosper. Over and out. Start the music.